Hello again, caregivers. It's Mrs. Tessner from LP Brown. Welcome to our second in the video series, Caregivers, You Can Do This. This one is about seeing the good in less than 5 minutes. Here we go. The first step in seeing the good is focusing on the positive. So we're really trying to recognize when kids are doing the right thing. This means that we need to notice the positives more often. Kids need 5 positives for every 1 correction in order to really promote positive behavior. So when we're focusing on the positive, we also want to be really specific about telling them what's making us proud about how they're behaving. We want to tell them right away at the time that they're doing it, and we want to link it to one of your big 3 expectations. So for example, if one expectation is being responsible, we might say, "Nice job keeping your school papers together. That's so responsible." And then it reinforces for them how to meet that expectation, that they're actually doing the example of what meets that expectation. The next piece is being really consistent. So I know that this is a struggle when we have so much on our plate right now as parents, but being consistent in noticing the positives is very important. And it's really important to make an active effort to do that. So some helpful tips are giving yourselves little prompts or reminders to notice the positive. I know that for myself especially, it's easy to recognize when there's a big disruptive behavior or your child's not doing the right thing, and that gets our attention really quickly. But we want to make sure that when things are calm and people are cooperating, being kind to each other, that we're noticing that too, that we're stopping and giving that our attention as well. And so sometimes we have to prompt ourselves to look for it and remind ourselves that that's a good time to be giving attention. So these are just a few tips: wearing bracelets and changing them over, putting change in your pocket and changing it over, to give yourself, again, a goal of how often you're giving that positive reinforcement. You might think of literally setting a timer for yourself, or think of something to pair it with. Maybe you're refilling your coffee or going to grab a drink of water. And every time you do that, you say, "Hey, nice job working on your schoolwork," or "Nice job getting along with your sibling." So making sure that you're giving positives. And then a few words on limiting the negative. So we want to make sure that when our child is not demonstrating the expectation that they're doing a negative behavior, that we're trying to correct it in a positive way. So we might actually choose not to acknowledge it and to instead acknowledge something positive that is going on, something that is meeting the expectation, whether it be by another person or sibling. That's one way to do it, to give a reminder. We can also correct negative behavior by restating the positive behavior that we'd like to be seeing. So instead of saying, "Stop doing that," or "You shouldn't be doing this," we want to make sure that we're saying, "Remember, we're working on being responsible, and so that looks like this," or "What does that look like in this situation?" Give them an opportunity to show you. The hardest but most important part about this is using a neutral tone. So I know as a parent too, that oftentimes when our kids have behaviors, especially big behaviors, it can trigger a very emotional reaction in us as parents. And so it's important to check in with yourself, to take a deep breath, to get to a place where you're really going to be able to use a neutral tone in addressing it with them, so that you can stay positive and that your anger and frustration is not going to be a big part of the communication that you give to your kid. The last video, our third and last one in the series, is on rewards for positive reinforcement. It can really be a win-win for parents and their kids. So join us for that. It's also under 5 minutes. I hope to see you there.